moving on to our special theme for the day. Nigeria's wealthy elites have a healthy appetite for top-shelf brands, but now instead of going to London, Dubai or Paris to access these luxury goods, these brands are opening up shop right here in Nigeria. Now, luxury car brand Porsche recently launched its brand here in Lagos. CNBC Africa's Kenneth Igbomor caught up with Julian Hardy, he's a GMD at Porsche, to find out how its luxury brand is faring amidst a slowdown in demand in global markets.
We're confident that the market is going to expand dramatically in the future. There obviously are some issues along the way, such as infrastructure and other political issues, but everyone is very, very excited about the market. If you look at all motor manufacturers, they now see sub-Saharan Africa as being the growth market. If you look at all the different countries that make that up, individually they're actually quite small, but when you put them all together, it's actually a very, very large market. So whereas the other markets, the BRICS, the Brazil, the Russia, the India, the China, and even South Africa, making it BRICS, they've really plateaued to an extent. We see a huge amount of growth here. I think it was even the president of Nigeria was talking about it should be BRICS in the future, so slotting Nigeria in. And I think that's very much the case for here. The huge natural resources, fantastic population, massive population, 167 million. So we see a huge opportunity in the future. If you look at Dubai, you look at, I've just recently come back from South Africa as well, I had a couple of conferences there. And they're in a different world, they're almost not Africa in some ways, they're almost like Europe. We've got quite a long way to go, I think, here in Nigeria to replicate that. But again, as I said before, because so many people travel or live in other countries, everyone knows those sort of standards and they're going to demand them here in the future. So I feel sure that it's going to improve here very, very quickly. If you look at Dubai, for instance, Porsche, they're selling around 1,500 cars a year. Likewise in South Africa now, they've moved up to around 1,300 to 1,400 Porsches per year. It's a huge number. We have the potential to do that, but that's quite a long way away. We're looking perhaps within 3 years to get to around 300 units. But again, if we look at the other manufacturers, for instance, VW, they're looking between now and 2018, where they have a strategy 2018 in place, at 600% increase in sales. And that's huge. And out of all of the sub-Saharan African region, we are obviously the largest market in Nigeria. So we should take a large chunk of that. So everyone is very, very excited about the market. But it's going to be a while before we catch up with Dubai, I think. But I think we'll get there. Everyone, again, is talking about Nigeria being larger than South Africa in the future. So there's a huge potential.
With the high cost of doing business associated with Nigeria, how does this play out with demand for your products and you're balancing out your books, with your profit projections?
It's all about volume. We have a thing called the vehicle park within the industry, which is basically the number of vehicles that you have in your market. Now we estimate, as I said before, around 200 or so vehicles. Now the vehicle park is vitally important because that generates after-sales business for you. And the bedrock of our industry is after-sales profits. We look for a holy grail of being able to cover all our overheads with our revenue and profit out of after-sales, so that really our sales profit is then the icing on the cake. We've got some way to go before we achieve that in this market, but that is where we will get to. So although this is a very, very big overhead that we've invested here in Victoria Island, this is the best showroom in Nigeria, without doubt. We even had some representatives from Rolls-Royce here last week looking, and they were very impressed with the standard. It's world standard that you find here. We need to get to that point where we are covering our costs through after sales. So the more cars we sell into the market, the more that we encourage to come back into our workshops, and the sooner that will happen. But without doubt, we're very confident that we will be profitable in the future. Porsche is a fantastic brand. I mean, it's one of the few brands that you can get really passionate about. When I was in the UK with Porsche, I had 45-year-old men who'd had the poster of the 911 Turbo on their wall since they were 10 years old, actually in tears collecting their first 911. There are very few cars that can do that. Maybe Ferrari, maybe Lamborghini, but certainly Porsche. And they're a car you can use every day, even the 911. The ground clearance is actually very good. It's comparable with quite a few normal road cars. But then you get this feeling when you drive it. There's no car that has the same sort of chassis as a Porsche. You get the feedback through the steering, the feedback through the actual chassis. You feel at one with the car. And that's the same right the way through the range. Even in the Panamera, although it looks a very large car, when you drive it, it seems to physically shrink and handle more like a sports car. It's very, very surprising the way Porsche managed to engineer this into all of their cars. But even again in the SUV, in the Cayenne, you get a fantastic response when you're driving it. And also on-road and off-road, it's again a fantastic car off-road. So again, for this sort of market, these sort of conditions, it's absolutely perfect. But it's one of the few brands in the world that can create the passion.
Julian Hardy, Deputy MD at Porsche, giving us a take on how Nigeria's wealthy are playing the markets in Nigeria.